Morning, this is Josephine Saddle in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and we're looking out at Patagonia and Mount Graham in the distance. And I'm going to break here to talk a little anime.
Now and then, here and there.
Now and Then, Here and There is the English title attached to the alternate world sci-fi anime series Ima Soko ni iru Boku. Shu was an ordinary Japanese middle school boy, a mediocre member of the kendo club with an unrequited crush on one of his cute classmates. Shu was walking home from school one day when he spots a cute girl he's never seen before sitting atop a tall abandoned smokestack. Curious, he climbs the ladder to the top of a neighboring smokestack to find the girl admiring the sunset. After the girl tries to ignore Shu for a bit, the girl will reluctantly identify herself as Lala Ru. And then things get weird as some sort of portal opens and drops a couple of mechanical snake-like vehicles and their crew among the smokestacks. Abelia is the commander of this uniformed violent expeditionary force, which sets about trying to capture Lala Ru. Shu gallantly jumps to the girl's defense in a pretty impressive display of improvised gymnastics amid the chaos of falling rubble. When the portal reopens, Shu gets yanked through along with Lala Ru and her would-be captors. Shu keeps right on trying to escape with Lala Ru, but they're not in Kansas anymore. They've teleported into a giant fortress known as Hollywood. It's a strange, failing world, apparently far in the future, where the land is arid and food and water are scarce. This opening seems like the start of countless other adventure anime, portraying Shu as the classic underdog, soon-to-become hero of another dimension, with gentle humor that belies the story's future intention. Shu and Lala Ru are soon surrounded and separated by the guards, who seem rather young to be uniformed soldiers.
Open up the gates!
Don't move! We found them!
It's soon revealed that Lala Ru isn't quite what she seemed. She has a magic-like power to produce water from her pendant, which would seem pretty handy in such a desiccated world. She's also a lot older than she looks, which has made her jaded, quiet, and accepting. Apparently she's been through many cycles of trying to help people by giving them water, and however much she does, it's never enough for them. They always want her to give them more, and they end up fighting over her. She's given up trying to please anyone. The biggest question they won't answer is who is Lala Ru to be so long-lived with such a mysterious power? Hollywood is run by King Hamdo, a madman bent on dominating the whole world. He's brutal and violent and a coward and utterly insane. His second-in-command, Abelia, is constantly forced to talk him down from his wilder plans and offer more practical suggestions to keep their world from going to pieces. Hamdo needs Lala Ru to complete his nefarious plans of world domination. The second biggest question the anime won't answer is why Abelia serves Hamdo so loyally. She's smart and recognizes that his plans are a detriment to Hollywood and the world, but she doesn't do anything about it. Shu is tossed in a jail cell where he meets Sarah, a young woman who's also from Shu's world. She was taken here because someone mistook her for Lala Ru. Just about here, the anime reveals its intent to look more directly at the brutality of war than most such young adventure series. Sarah's life in Hollywood has been hell. She's passed around among the soldiers for their pleasure and as breeding stock for future soldiers. The life of a sex slave has driven her nearly mad. Shu is summarily drafted into Hamdo's army. We soon learn that the entire army are conscripts taken from their villages and forced to serve King Hamdo's plans for world conquest. I remember getting my draft notice, and into the 19th century, a press gang was considered a great way to build a navy. Two soldiers epitomize the consequences on this army. Nabaka is a likable squad leader, often appalled by the brutal and inhuman acts he's forced to perform on behalf of Hamdo. But he complies, thinking the sooner this war is over, the sooner he can return home to his village from which he was taken. Tabul, on the other hand, actually likes the killing and brutality. He's accepted that he's never going home and has embraced his new violent life. Sarah and Lala Ru's abuse, the pain and madness of the soldiers themselves, and finally a flood of dead characters distinguish this as a much more grim series than you might have expected from the start. For his part, Shu wants nothing to do with killing. He ends up using a stick like a kendo blade in a world of knives and guns. He wants to find Lala Ru and escape Hollywood and take Sarah with them too.
すしかないんだ。それが俺たちの任務だ。
Now and Then, Here and There was conceived and directed by Akitaro Daichi, whose other anime have been more of a light and humorous side. His collaborator for the screenplay and series composition, Hideyuki Kurata, has likewise done mostly lighter action anime. Together they've created an interesting tale that takes a look at the brutality of war. In many ways, this is the debunking of the classic anime concept of the boy hero who rescues the girl and saves the world. It insists the viewer look at the ugliness that's implicit in such conflicts, but is generally ignored in the classic heroic saga. Usually, such a series gives us one or two secondary characters whose death will sadden and then motivate the hero, and then otherwise ignores the collateral suffering caused by the battles. Now and Then, Here and There will far exceed our expectations for tragedy, and ultimately slaughter a surprisingly large percentage of the cast. This contrasts with shows such as, say, the recent Gurren Lagann, where a battle is something grandly heroic, to be fought with enthusiasm, and the consequences are paid in only a few select character deaths. Here, combat is a wicked thing, always. Now and Then, Here and There wants us to know that war is hell, and that war makes everyone crazy, and just wanting peace doesn't get you peace. Thankfully, Shu is a resilient optimist, always struggling for a better tomorrow, and trying to bolster the spirits of his surviving friends to give peace a chance. If he went all emo and wallowed in sorrow, the show would be unbearably morose. Shu's ability to acknowledge a tragedy but then move on keeps the story moving despite the ugliness. The art and character designs by Rei Nishino are a bit of a throwback, similar to his later work on Shingu. They're not so much retro as just a little old-fashioned even for when the anime was made. It gives characters with simple lines, rounded faces, and flat, clean colors. Today this makes the series look a bit older than it really is. The art designs in Hollywood and on the desolated Earth constantly return to the orange palette. So many of the exteriors take place at sunset or sunrise, you might guess the sun has been stuck on the horizon. The animation from AIC is about what you'd expect from that studio, with decently smooth movement for a TV show at the tail end of the hand-drawn cell production era. The music of Itako Iwasawa provides the appropriate elegiac atmosphere for the wasted land and the many tragedies of the series. So, I give Now and Then, Here and There 4 stars. It provides a more serious take on the old, unlikely kid hero anime cliche. For those inclined to look at the dark underbelly of that subgenre, there's sure to be a thoughtful parable here too, considering the title. Say, substitute oil for water and rewind to 1999. Yet, for all its aspirations, the story is a little slow on the uptake, taking a handful of episodes for it to really involve the viewer in the lives of the characters. Also, it would have been better served by a less cartoonishly insane portrayal of King Hamdo. The 13-episode series was originally released in the US by USMC, who did the dub. Their dub is serviceable, but far from perfect. It's since become an ADV title, or I guess that's Section 23 now. Thanks for watching.